the internet isn't yet made for kids. And so we need to be mentors for our kids at all times. I was just reading this book, How to Talk to Your Kids About Pornography. And something that really stuck with me is that we cannot child-proof the world, but we can world-proof our child. Hey, welcome back to School of Love, where we want to help you create parent-child relationships where you can talk about anything, especially about sex. And this time, I wanted to share with you about a few things that I have learned while living in a caravan. Yes, you heard that correctly. Caravan, for those of you who don't know, I moved into a caravan with my family. So the number of houses that exist outside of this caravan that belong to us is 0. We completely moved out of our house. And yeah, so this provides a new canvas of learning experiences for all of us. And that's what I want to share with you, at least a few of them. I'm sure I could go on and on, but yeah, I'm going to focus on the internal experiences. I could talk about some external things, but that would be a whole different kind of podcast. Yeah, like moisture in the caravan in winter and how you got to take care of that. Quite a challenge, but just if someone is curious, I'll just tell you what saved us, and that is a Kersha. It's called Kersha. I don't know how you say it without a German accent, but this windshield wiper kind of thing. It's not really a windshield wiper. Yeah, but it basically, you scrape the water off the windows and it vacuums it in. This is amazing. Yeah, but there have been lots of physical challenges also in this lifestyle, but yeah. So just a little background story, just so you know when this all started. In September, we moved out of our house. We actually asked for a little bit extra time because it was so challenging just to move out of our house without another house to go to. We wanted to get rid of a lot of stuff, and we did, but still, we are 7 people in our family, and it was still such a challenge to reduce enough to fit even in our caravan. And we even got friends holding boxes for us in their attics and cellars. Thank you, lovely friends. But still, it was such a challenge. So we got a few extra days from our landlord. Thank God for this lovely landlord. And yeah, we got some more time to leave the house in beautiful order. My husband is really good at cleaning, so he made that whole house sparkle before we moved out. It took the whole night, but yeah, we moved out, and then we were technically homeless for the first walk till we got to the caravan, which is in the same town. My son and I were walking to the caravan, and we told the kids in the morning they had to go to school, and then we said, okay, this time when you come back home, you got to come home to the caravan and not to the old house. It was just a really interesting, funny feeling. But what really hit home was our new neighbors. They live next to us in the caravan, in a normal house. They said, because we joked that we are homeless people now, and they said, God is your home. And yeah, it was just so amazing. And I was like, yeah, that's actually what I'm going for this whole year and for the future. So yeah, it was a tough start, but also in some ways a really good start. Yeah, I mean, I had lots of things I was aiming for while living in the caravan. Like, we started homeschooling our kids, which felt really impossible in the beginning because we were just so cluttered with stuff that we needed to cut down on and sort through and store in good ways. But my kids were spending a lot more time outside. I was so happy. Yeah, they were just kids being kids outside, which is so important. So yeah, this was like just a few tidbits of our beginning. And our goal was to get on the road and start traveling. We wanted to travel already right away, actually, but we didn't manage till the very end of September to finally get going. which then also came up with quite a few stumbles. The first night of our official journey, we got towed away because, yeah, I'll just have to tell you the little story of how our youngest, who was, I think, 2 months at the time, he was crying and crying. We couldn't get him to stop crying. So we pulled over with our caravan and everything, and we took some time to calm him down. And then this took so long, and my husband left the blinking lights on, the warning lights, because we were technically not supposed to pull over there. We just wanted to be safe. Um, and it took probably like 20 minutes to half an hour to calm this poor little guy down. In the end, I think it was just a burp that was stuck and annoying him. But this took so long, and then we were finally ready to go. We laid him down in his car seat, and then Gabriel, my husband, starts the car. It didn't start. We completely depleted the battery. And so we got hold of, yeah, 88 ADAC, that's the German help for any kind of vehicle in Germany. So they came to the rescue, but not completely because they tried to start the battery, it didn't work. So they ended up towing us to a new location, which was really exciting. But yeah, this was quite a big stumble for us. We weren't sure where we were going to end up that night. When we thought we were going straight to Austria, we ended up staying a few more nights in Germany. So, yeah, lots of challenging, exciting things happened, especially in the beginning. But I feel grateful because I think these things taught us a lot about how to just drive a caravan, and also, yeah, how to work as a team and as a family. And so, yeah, this is where I am, by the way. I'm in a caravan. If you happen to be watching this, this is technically our bedroom. Um, yeah, and we use this for living, working. My husband is usually doing home office if we are especially in another country. He's working basically in the middle of the caravan, and then on the far end, we have another table where we eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that is also our homeschool table. If we're lucky, the weather is nice and we can go outside and learn, but yeah, it's currently winter and usually we're inside. Um, yeah, and so we explored a lot of East Europe the last few months, and it's been really rewarding, amazing, enriching for all of us. So no regrets, despite all those challenges. I guess, so yeah, to jump into what I really want to talk about, like what I'm learning while I'm here in this caravan. So one reason why we are even doing this, especially my reason, my husband would tell you probably a whole new perspective and vision and story. But for me, I am noticing how these times with the kids are slipping away like water in my hands. You know, it's just, you can't hold on to it. And so I really want to just treasure it as much as I can and that I can offer for my kids, you know. I want it to be the most amazing childhood that they can possibly have. And so, yeah, and I was just this Christmas, I was at my parents' in-laws' house with all family from my husband's side. It's amazing every year. And it was a must for us to come back to Germany and have this time. And, you know, they have these photos hanging up of all the grandkids. There are 15 of them now. You know, I see my kids and my nieces and my nephews, and, you know, from them when they were babies or toddlers. It's just so, just fills you up with such a warm feeling. It makes you feel so light and happy inside, right? I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when you look at pictures of your kids from when they were smaller, if you already have small kids. And it's so lovely, right? And yeah, it just makes me feel this time is so mortal, right? It is just, it's not forever. And I really want to treasure it. So yeah, I felt also thinking back to our normal daily life, you know, living in a house, going to school, doing work. Yeah, this kind of daily grind, it's so easy to just get lost in that and to not take enough opportunities with my kids to just be a kid myself or to really connect. And that's really my goal right now. And what I want to say to you that I'm learning is connection, connection, connection. This is so, so valuable with our kids, connection with our kids. And yeah, please, yeah, take whatever opportunity you can. You don't have to do a world trip like we're doing. But that's just what I wanted to convey to you is this preciousness of this time with our kids. I know so often it it can get it can be so easy to get lost in the stress because it is a big job raising any child, but it is the most rewarding job. And if we can just really take the time to be present, yeah, then we don't miss this connection. And yeah, I still find it challenging, even though we are in, I don't know how many square meters, but it's 9.5 meters space, and we're constantly with each other, but it can still be sometimes challenging to connect, amazingly. Um, we have this constant connection, which I'm so grateful for, which is, just this whole trip together. We're going to all remember being in these countries together, seeing those things together. So we have this connection as a family. The thing I want to work on even more is connection with each individual, with each child, and of course with my husband, and also to feel connected in myself. It's been not simple to find time for myself. Um, and yeah, not always finding that time, it can make me feel like I'm, yeah, just struggling to, yeah, see my overall vision or my vision for the day even. And yeah, and to really reflect also, okay, how connected do I feel with each individual in my family? So yeah, I see this could be better. So I recently finished a boot camp with a very lovely mother, and yeah, it I did say just mother. It could be plural. So yeah, anyway, boot camps, guys, please, if you're interested, just register anytime. Um, and make sure you have the time to show up. But yeah, one mother, she really stuck to it with integrity, and I'm so grateful that she did. And at the end, we always set North Star goals. And a North Star goal, what's different about that from a normal goal is you are striving towards an emotion. So yeah, I just wanted to share my North Star goal with you guys that I set towards the end of this boot camp, which was my connections are my treasures of this golden time. Because I feel really lucky we have this golden time together, but the connections that I build, those are the treasures that I'm going to take away with me. That's how I really want to feel. And that's also what I want to focus on because, I have a lot of opportunities, but I am guilty of not always taking them. Um, I have one child. I feel like he is sometimes demanding this connection with me so much that I run away from it sometimes because it just feels like such a demand. And um, I have to really remind myself that this is precious and I can make this an enjoyable moment. I'm the decider in that. And actually I love him so much. Even though, sometimes I do get annoyed in the way that um, this particular child demands my attention. And I do try to teach him to ask for it in a nicer way. But yeah, it's really my chance to make that connection. And yeah, this is just an example of one connection that I want to improve. And so, yeah, each child is so individual, aren't they? I think I'm realizing more and more that each relationship is also so unique. And we really need to explore that and find ways to connect in different ways with each kids. Pretty much convinced, that they are different for a reason. And this connection that we build with them is really going to open up our character to blossom in so many ways. So I'm, yeah, excited to see what kind of connection will come out with each child. And I encourage you to also just think about that. Like, how is my connection, with my first child different from my second? And, how can I offer them this connection in ways that they really find precious? Like some they can really connect, if you just sit and talk, but others, maybe they want to be more active with you, and maybe they want to play rough or make jokes, or maybe some want to be more creative. Everybody's so different, and yeah, it's interesting. It makes me think of how our connection with God is also so personal and individual and unique. And that's why, although I find it so inspiring to hear about people's experiences with God and their personal connections with them. And what I used to always do was to try to seek that out for myself. But in the end, we can't copy anyone's relationship. We really have to build our own. And so, yeah, I mean, we can try different techniques and explore that, but we have to never forget that, I am a totally individual organism that never existed before. So it's just impossible to make a complete copy of someone else's relationship with somebody. So, yeah, same goes for with our kids. And it was also interesting over Christmas, just talking with family, and talking about us traveling and also our family traveling. And yeah, one thing they mentioned was going into restaurants and seeing other families, and how so often they saw everyone sitting at a table, everyone on individual screens. It could be that the adults are talking together, but all the children just sitting there with a screen. And I mean, I can tell you, I, in many years ago, we also gave our kids screens sometimes waiting in restaurants because it does get boring, yeah? But the thing is, we've been to a lot of restaurants also during this trip because our goal was to try the local food of each country that we visit. And I just want to share that, screens aren't necessarily always evil. They can be super fun also, and educational, and even if you use them together, it might be a point of connection. But yeah, if a screen is put there in front of someone, it could be that it's also stealing time away from you or stealing a possibility for connection. These times that my family, spent in the restaurants, they became really great memories. Just looking around at the restaurant, at the kind of decoration of the restaurant we saw in Albania, they had really beautiful sort of tapestries covering the benches and the walls. And then we were also in Slovakia in a really cute restaurant that was like all wooden. It was actually underground. And yeah, just noticing this with my family together, it was really fun. And my point is that we just need to be careful that whatever screen that you're holding or your child is holding, we need to be careful that it is not a thief of connection, right? So, yeah, we need to just be intentional. I think that's again and again what comes to mind when I think of screens is that we need to be super intentional with why we want to use it and when and for how long. So, yeah. Yeah, I also had a talk with my kids about AI, as it's a big topic these days. And yeah, it's posing a lot of dangers for our kids as well, the AI that's out there, although it also can be so useful. And so I think I was just glad to let them know that, um, that this danger is out there. Like lots of people, lots of children ha have developed relationships with AI. They chat with them like a friend, but this is robbing them of a relationship with a real person. And unfortunately, these AIs can have very bad advice, which I want to get to in another podcast episode. I want to really dive into this topic. But yeah, the point is that, the internet isn't yet made for kids. And so we need to be mentors for our kids at all times. Um, I was just reading this book, How to Talk to Your Kids About Pornography. And something that really stuck with me is that we cannot child-proof the world, but we can world-proof our child. And so, yeah, how do we do that? Yeah, we can be a mentor for them. And what also comes to mind is rum. I talked about this with Jason Frost in another episode. This is an acronym that he and his wife created from their book, The Glass Between Us. And yeah, RUM stands for relationship, understanding, mentoring, and boundaries. And yeah, relationship is really about connection. We really need to focus on just connecting with our kids. And when we have this deep connection, then, they're less likely to seek out connection from unwanted sources. And yeah, and another part of RUM is, of course, the mentoring and boundaries. And yeah, we need to be doing that with our kids and screens. I also just wanted to mention, so I had this talk about AI with all of my kids. And, in a caravan, it's not easy to find one-on-one time with each child. But yeah, there was one occasion where my husband had the girls, they went shopping, and I was home with all my boys. And their baby was sleeping, so it was an extra good chance to talk to my two middle boys. And yeah, what I talked to them about sex. And it was, I think my 5-year-old, he finally could understand what it is, even though we've talked about it many times, but something finally clicked that day, actually before our conversation. And so I just wanted to have another conversation to make everything clear, especially that, yeah, that this is something for grown-up people, and it's a really precious thing for God. And, we said other things. I just want to say that having this conversation, it made me feel so connected to my kids, my goal. um, it's a special topic, right? And it's intimate. And when we can talk about it, I think we automatically feel very connected to the people that we can share honestly with. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say this, I was really grateful for this conversation with my boys. And yeah, just I want to encourage all parents to have more and more talks that are sex related. Where do babies come from? Or how do you understand? Where do you think the baby comes out? Do you know the ingredients for a baby? I don't know. There are lots of creative ways, and I hope we can create a place or platform where we can all share about this and get ideas from each other. But yeah, and on our website, if you don't know, there is a place also with curriculum and ideas. If you just really feel lost, you can anytime just check the curriculum about, yeah, where do babies come from, and get ideas from there. And of course, the boot camps are there to help you directly to really handle these topics so you're not alone. Yeah, so connection. That's one thing I wanted to talk about. The next thing I wanted to talk about is taking care of yourself. Taking care of yourself is also taking care of your kids. This is something that I also learned during this life and this caravan life. And yeah, taking care of yourself and also taking care of your marriage is also taking care of your kids. And so yeah, sometimes, I just felt really low during this trip. And, often I found what I really needed was a shower. I just needed a shower, and I just felt like I wasn't taking enough care of myself, my physical body, or even my mental state as well. But, showers are pretty relaxing for both. And yeah, sometimes we gotta ask for that time. I'm pretty much bound to my 5-month-old, so I have to ask for that time. I can't just take it whenever I want. And so, yeah, take care of yourself, take care of your marriage so you can communicate about these things and, yeah, really support each other so that you can be there for your kids. And yeah, another thing that I learned while in this caravan, but it's really more connected to School of Love, is that there are so many background stories in our understanding of sex-related topics. This is actually really talked about a lot in the book Sheet Music. And yeah, traveling around Europe, meeting different communities also made me realize that yeah, each country, each religion, and family, they have so many different concepts around sex, and these are still influencing us. Um, yeah, whether we are blessed families or not, they are still there. Um, yeah, like one community shared how in the religion in their country, like even after having a baby, you still need to somehow be sanctified because this is seen as a not pure act because it's related. I don't know. If it's because of the part of the body it comes out or because of the sexual act, I'm not sure. I would have to research that, but you have to be purified, um, which I found really interesting. And yeah, in other countries, they said to me that, yeah, maybe parents don't feel so embarrassed to talk to their kids about sex-related topics, but yeah, the couples have more of a tough time really connecting with each other, which is also a really important aspect to our children's education and also sex education. So, yeah, it's been really, really great to just meet different communities and share about this. Yeah, my whole family were really grateful that we got to meet communities in Albania and online with Croatia and Slovenia. And Greece doesn't have so many families yet, just so you know. Lots of opportunity to witness there, I guess. We almost met one family there. She was just out of reach on an island, but it was a little bit too hard to get there. Um, yeah, but then also in Bulgaria and Romania and also in Hungary. And also in Czech Republic. We also got to meet a few families and some old friends, and it was so, so nice to meet everybody. Um, yeah, so like we've been trying to learn about each country, my family and I, when we're there, learning a bit of the language and some history. But yeah, it's really the cherry on top to meet the community as well. And yeah, just to see where are we all at and what I felt really lucky when I could share um, directly with the community in person, with the parents and see, yeah, where are we all at? What are we struggling with today? And yeah, with some it's screen time, and with some it's social messages, what they're saying, and how our kids um, react to that. But in the end, there are all these different challenges, right? But in the end, we're blessed families and we have our goal. And that goal is School of Love, isn't it? It's to just create this school of love where we're learning about love together and connecting with each other. And, I think this connection is one way of really world proofing our kids, going back to what they said in this book, How to Talk to Your Kids About Pornography. I think if we have connection with our kids, we're showing that they're not alone. And that's one way to really show support. no matter what they might be struggling with. And that means we really need to show grace and, forgiveness, and always really keep up the integrity that, like, I can always forgive you and love you no matter what happens, you know? My mother-in-law, she reminded me of this book that she actually let me borrow called How Big Is Your God? And yeah, it kind of goes back to the whole forgiveness thing, like, do you believe God can't forgive certain people for certain things? Like, is God's heart smaller than others? Or is God so, so big, right? And actually, God has grace for all of us. And that's what we as parents can do our best to emanate, to copy and to channel, is to show, like, yeah, we are there for you and we love you. God is there for grace and not for judgment. And this brings me to K-pop Demon Hunters. Have you seen the movie? I finally saw it over Christmas. I have a family member, not in my family, but outside of my family, who really loves it, which was really cute. And yeah, I finally saw it. And okay, so K-pop Demon Hunters, there are a lot of opinions actually going on about it online. What I want to share with you is not necessarily an opinion, but just something that really moved me. And I hope you've seen it, because otherwise it's harder to describe. But there was one scene in the movie where the one K-pop member she has tattoos, it's basically patterns on her arms that she is hiding from her other members. She's too scared to let them know that she has these patterns. Um, and so she goes to seek out help from an auntie. And this auntie, she knows that this one member is hiding. Her name's Rumi. Rumi is hiding these patterns. She knows it already, and she's been helping her to hide it her whole life. And Rumi's patterns are getting stronger and spreading. And so then she goes to this auntie, I forget her name, and the auntie is looking at her and she's like, "It's okay, like, we can just keep hiding them, just wear more stuff and hide it, and it's gonna be okay." And then Rumi looks at her and she's like, "Just look me in the eye, like, why can't you look at me anymore?" And then she screams out, "Why can't you love all of me?" And this is what really moved my heart, because that's what we all want, right? We want someone to love all of us, our edges and what's the expression? Our edges and corners, our prickles and our fuzz, I don't know. But that's what we want. We want to be seen and heard, and we know we're not perfect, but we want someone to just love us no matter what. And that's also what our kids want, despite maybe they also have a few faults and they also make mistakes, but they want to be loved anyway. And I really believe that when they feel that love, they can level up, with whatever struggle they have. Um, they can then feel supported and loved, and they can become even greater, than the struggle that they might have. And so, yeah, that's that's what yeah, something that moved me from K-pop Demon Hunters. And yeah, and it's just interesting. This movie has gone viral and somehow is speaking to everyone. I don't know if it's just because of the catchy music, um, but I think movies do go viral for a reason. And for me, it was this particular scene. Um, But yeah, I also just really love the movie because I grew up in Korea and I could relate to so many scenes. Um, so yeah, yeah, that's what I want to share with you and my caravan life so far. Um, we will go on living in this caravan for a few more months, and then we are planning to fly around the world. And so, yeah, thank you so much for listening. And I really, really encourage you to just go and connect and love those families of yours. And yeah, to really appreciate this time that we have, this golden time. And yeah, that's the connection that we have with each of our kids is really the treasure that we can take with us. And yeah, all the best and see you next time.